Hello, and welcome to Breast Cancer Conversations, a podcast brought to you by survivingbreastcancer.org. I am Laura Carfing, breast cancer survivor and founder of survivingbreastcancer.org, a nonprofit organization providing community, education, and resources to empower those diagnosed with breast cancer and their caregivers from day one and beyond. Hello, my friends. I am so excited that you are joining us for our legacy episode today. Today, I'm thrilled because we did our very first SBC workshop. So shout out to our MBC leadership team for putting this together. People can definitely expect more workshops and series coming out for the metastatic community. We're trying to aim for quarterly, so definitely keep your eyes out for information on that. If you haven't already signed up for our newsletter, head over to survivingbreastcancer.org/subscribe. Today we hear the voices of those living with metastatic breast cancer, anywhere from just being newly diagnosed with MBC all the way to living out into the double digits. So we're going to hear their stories as well as what legacy means to them.
For me, legacy is the unique, permanent mark that you leave in someone's life. One that propels their heart, mind, body, and soul to be the best version of themselves and leave the world better than how they found it.
Welcome to the conversation.
I've been living with metastatic breast cancer for 4 years now. I'm on my fourth line of defense. I'm actually doing good on this new medicine I'm on. The legacy means to me is just I have 4 children and 2 grandbabies. So just leave something behind for them. They wanted me to leave stories behind for them. So that actually got me started on that.
I've been living with MBC for about 4.5 years. I don't know how many lines of treatment I've been on already. Legacy means a few things, from, leaving all the passwords to all my computer accounts so that transitioning out of my virtual life is easy.
You also have a book with various writing prompts. Who gave that to you?
My son, which has 300 questions in it about how do you soothe yourself when you're upset? What, in your opinion, is strength? Tell about a time you broke something. It's all kinds of questions that give insight into me in lots of different ways. And I'm slowly but surely working my way through it.
I've been living with metastatic breast cancer for about 3.5 years now. I think I'm on my 6th line of treatment. I haven't had anything to do anything IV yet, so it's all just still been oral stuff. Legacy means to me, I guess the memories that I leave with the people that I leave. And how I made them feel, I think, more than anything. I want to make sure that they know that I love them. And as far as who I will leave behind, I have 3 kids. I have 3 grandkids. My husband and I have been together more than 30 years. And I have my most wonderful cat.
I've been living with metastatic breast cancer since January of 2019, so about 3.5 years. Just started the 43rd cycle of my first line of treatment, so I feel fortunate. But, always waiting when you get to that point. When is the blood work going to change? When are the scans going to change? And my legacy, I work in healthcare and I do imaging. So I'm currently trying to plop out a plan where we change the perspective of care, the person providing the care to patients, like the techs, the lab people, making awareness about what we think and how we feel. So I hope to be able to do something in a professional standpoint. And personally, I feel like I want to leave the world a better place. So just a little bit of kindness. Want to leave memories. I never had my own children, so I have nieces and nephews, siblings, and my husband. A few close friends. So I hope, and I have 4 babies. They're my kids, definitely. So I hope I'm able to leave like a lasting impression and a memory. And I like acts of kindness. That's my love language. So I hope that I'm able to instill that in those around me.
I've had MBC for 4 years. And I think legacy means to me instilling values in the people around me that they always know that I love them. I don't have my own children, but I have nieces and nephews who are amazing and funny and crazy, wild and all that. So I just hope that they, remember me as someone who loved them alive.
September 11th, I will be hitting 8 years after a metastatic de novo diagnosis to my liver. I got to enjoy this last year with no scans. I had a full year. It was lovely. And this last week, they saw something on my CT scan. So I'm going to need that progression reminder and talk of where to go from there. I've only been on one line of treatment. I have been very lucky. So, with everybody, you just wait for that shoe to drop. Legacy to me is really threefold. It's the past and bringing the past into us now, the future, present and future. We have bought a side of a mountain that we are all going to live on. I'm amazed my children ran away from me, and then they want us to come and follow them. I'm actually going to build a pub on the front of the property, and I am writing recipe books for both of my children that include handwriting from my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my mother, and making sure they have pictures and the history of where things came from, as well as present day, my recipes, and hopefully they'll be able to hand that on to their children. I'm hoping I get to see grandchildren someday, but I'm preparing for just leaving something for them.
I was diagnosed in 2015. So I've been living with metastatic cancer for 7 years and 4 months. I'm in my 7th line of treatment.
What does legacy mean to you?
Leaving nice memories to be remembered by, making an impact in my community, in my world, in my family.
Defining legacy, I have no idea. I mean, trying to be a positive person and leaving behind something that made a difference in anybody. I will be leaving my husband of 32 years and 2 adults, call them boys. They're young men, and a lot of extended family. Thank you.
I have been living with metastatic disease it'll be 7 years this October. And I was diagnosed with stage 2 like a year and a half before that. And while everybody was talking, I was counting my lines of treatment. So I just started my 10th line of treatment. Legacy means to me, I guess, leaving memories of myself, like hopefully positive memories, with experiences, I guess, photos, and, just general advice.
I've been living with MBC for 3.5 years. And that is about 13 years out from an early stage diagnosis. I was very early stage and did all the most aggressive treatments. And despite all that, still progressed to metastatic. So legacy to me means a few things. It means, cushioning the blow of the loss and the grief and preparing that space so that my loved ones have that space for themselves. And it also means a few things like I'd like to donate my body to a cadaver lab, things, like the real nuts and bolts kind of things like that as well.
I've been living with the MBC for 2 years. Before that, my stage 1 was like a year and a half. What does legacy? It means, besides just the memories and pictures, and definitely audio and video is big for me because I don't really have that in my parents, and it'd be nice to have. Sorry, I can't do this without crying sometimes.
I think legacy, before this workshop, legacy meant to me kind of my impact on my world. I'm a therapist for kiddos and families who I'm medically retired last year. And so I think of my legacy of what my impact was to the kiddos and families that I worked with, but also kind of my impact on my family and my larger group of friends and community. But I'm hearing lots of great ways to think about legacy from other people today. So I'm thankful for that already.
I've been living with MBC for 6 years now. I'm on my second clinical trial, and it's going well. What legacy means to me is that I hope the love that I have for my family and friends will live beyond when I'm gone.
I kind of think of it in two ways. And one is a little bit more of the less physical. So, I hope that part of my legacy is leaving behind a positive impact, both personally and professionally. I've been very engaged in my professional life, and I have a lot of colleagues who I consider friends, and I'm now educating them all about MBC. And then the physical aspect, right, is kind of, making sure that there's artifacts and things that my close family members will have.
I will leave behind my husband, and we're high school sweethearts, so we've been together 36 years. I have 3 kids who are 25, 21, and 20, and just a lot of great friends. I too have a wonderful extended family, so a lot of cousins and things like that. Personal nature, it means how the people that I love will keep me with them.
I think as we live with this disease over time, that definitely changes, and it has for me. So what legacy really means for me is that it encompasses all of the pieces and the memories of me that will remain once I'm gone. It's who I am, how I loved, any acts of good or kindness that I've done throughout my life, and that I'll be remembered for, as well as any impact that I might have made as a patient advocate.
I was diagnosed originally with cancer in 2004, and I was diagnosed with metastatic in 2009. So I've lived with it for 18 years, and 13 of them metastatic breast cancer. I have no idea how many treatments I've been on. I just recently started a new one 2 months ago. Everyone, it's kind of like I sort of missed the devil I knew, and now I have to learn a new one. So it's always hard. I'm in a hard space right now of transitioning to this new treatment. The legacy part of it for me, I think, has shifted because I've been at this for so long. I think 13 years was the longest I've heard here this morning, and 18 years total. And part of the legacy I think I'm leaving is how I lived with this for this long, and that I didn't make it the centerpiece on my table for this long. I told friends a few years ago that it's my backpack. I got to carry it. Sometimes it's got a bottle of water and a pack of gum. Sometimes it's got every freaking thing you need for 6 days out on weeks out on a trail. And right now it's at that size feeling like it's the long trek part. And so I hope that that's part of what people realize, is that I didn't give up, and I kept my sense of hope. I kept my orientation toward what is in my life.
I have been living with de novo metastatic breast cancer since 2012. I view legacy also as like my heritage, because I am Native Hawaiian, and I do have Ukrainian background, and there are some things that we have brought down from the Russian part of our family that I would like to not only share the Hawaiian portion and leave the traditions behind, but also the Russian portion, which tends to be really important to my kids right now. So I have 3 kids. They are 34, 29, and 27. So they're all off living their own lives. And it's been very interesting having adult children and talking about, your potential passing and what my kids want. And my kids do not want stuff. They want memories. There are certain things, yes, in this house that they do want and that they're actually fighting over. And so I've had to put it in the will of who's going to get the blue quilt. And so there are things like that that have meant a great deal to them. But for the most part, my kids have always said, share with us your traditions, tell us about who you are, where you're from, what our grandparents did, how they got here to the States, what was Grandpa doing in when Pearl Harbor was bombed. Things of that sort is what is really important to them.
I have been thinking a lot about what legacy means. Sort of in general, I have 4 kids. They're all adopted, and my youngest is 8. And we tell stories. So I think legacy for me is about the stories that we leave behind that people want to share with each other about us.
My entire life is not about cancer. It's a big part, but there's much more. And I like how she used the metaphor, it's my backpack. I want to explore that a little bit. I think that was a really fun idea. So I've been living with metastatic breast cancer since I was diagnosed, so 6.5 years ago. When I think of what legacy means to me, I think it's the imprint that I leave behind on the people and the roles that I've taken on throughout my life. So it's my imprint or impact on people. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a teacher, I'm a sister, an aunt, a friend, a daughter, a student, a cousin, a sister-in-law, and I'm also a patient. And so in terms of all of those roles that I've taken, what imprint do I want to leave behind on those people?
As far as legacy, I actually had to sit down and think about it on the survey we were supposed to fill out, because I had never kind of sat down to think about and write down what it meant. So I'm going to read what I put, but I have great pointers from many of you as well that I'll be adding. So for me, legacy is the unique, permanent mark that you leave in someone's life, one that propels their heart, mind, body, and soul to be the best version of themselves and leave the world better than how they found it.
I have been living with de novo lobular metastatic breast cancer for almost 10 years. It'll be February, will be 10 years. I am currently in a clinical trial for the first time, and it's my 4th line of treatment, 4th or 5th, depending on how you count it. What legacy means to me is complex. My life has been compartmentalized, and like I had my work life and my work friends, and then I have my advocacy life and my advocacy friends, and then I have my college friends, and then I have we had friends that were when my son was growing up that we don't see as much anymore. So I need to work a lot on the personal part of my legacy. I have photos in boxes. I have never put them in albums. My son is 25, and I have never put any of our family photos in albums. Partially, I think, is because they started becoming digital, and when he was 6 or 5 or something. And so I have to figure out kind of how to organize all that. And so for me, there's a lot of anxiety because I've been a procrastinator, and I haven't done a lot of that yet. And so that's part of it, like getting like all my stuff, photos, passwords, etc., organized.
I'm of German, Italian, and Polish heritage. And I have a daughter who's 8 years old. She has autism. So yeah, I'm trying to put together my history. I have lived in a few places in Brazil, moved around to the US, Germany, because of work, because of research, because of studying. And I feel that she doesn't know me too well, so I want to put all these things together. Also, a family tree. I was able to find a few generations back in Poland. I already had a lot from relatives, from my ancestors in Germany, and I need to get the Italian side in order.
I'm an art teacher, and so I have my community of my students, and I just want to while I'm here, make as much of a positive impact on people as I can, and just show a lot of love and kindness, and be a good role model.
I don't have any children. I was an only child. My parents are not alive. So I see my legacy as leaving my art. And I'm a sculptural bead artist, and I do a lot of jewelry and handmade baskets. And what I have wanted to do this year, and I've started, is making pieces for people that incorporate things that are important to them, an old button that maybe their mom had or something like that, and just making these pieces. And I have a wealth of artwork that I've sold, and I have a lot that I haven't sold. So I hope those pieces will all go to dear friends, and I find that as a way for them to be able to connect.
When I think about the tangible items I will leave behind, I hope that they remind people of the intangible items, right? The way I made someone feel, or a story I told, or the way I danced, or the way I laughed. And so I've been thinking about that combination of, or whether it's intangible too, I think of like photo albums, or, the stories that people are writing, things like that, those tangible items to remind people of the intangible things that I think are so important.
I feel like it's leaving parts of me behind. I love to scrapbook, so I've been doing that. I also have a wedding dress that I am going to. There's a lady that can turn it into a baptismal gown. She can also make it into something that my children can have at their wedding. So that's something I'm going to be working on.
I think the first time when I first noticed that I'm NBC, I think I quickly prepared the wheel. I think that was the only thing came to mind. And I also have a book, like a binder, and then try to put all this, as much information as possible, like the bank statement and all those stuff, just to try to make their life a little bit easier. And then now that I heard all these suggestions, and the next things I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should ask them to see what they want, like rather than because now that if they probably don't want the China, is what exactly do they want? I guess maybe it's better to just to get an idea from them.
I need to reach out and get support, that it's not me being negative. It's just, a lot of you are talking about support and caretakers, and it's just me and my dog. I just have so much always going on, and my anxiety has me like an ADD person, and I'm like, I don't know where to start, sometimes. So I'm just writing little notes, while I'm listening to y'all and trying to, lock arms and one step forward.
Being Italian means that I have families over there, friends over there. I have family here and friends here. So I have to do everything double. So I love writing. Writing is my way to express myself. And right now is my way to cope with everything. I've been diagnosed de novo 4 months ago. So I understood that I'm the cancer-related youngest here, because it's just 4 months. And I'm just dealing with this word legacy recently, because it's kind of a tricky word. Like it's a scary word. And for me, I wasn't ready, but now I think that I'm getting there. And I started to writing a book to leave to my children. I count to be around for many years, because I wanted to see my grandchildren, because I also have to teach them Italian and to teach them cooking. That's important, because cooking and speaking for me are very, very important. And so I need to be around to do that with them.
I haven't really met very many people, so it's really nice to connect. My intention of the legacy that I want to leave behind is I just want people to feel hugged by me when they think of me. Dutch. So we have a lot of like very specific meals that my kids have always loved. And they remember it from their grandparents who my parents, they've already passed away. And I just want that to kind of keep on going.
I've been living with MBC since summer of 2019. For me, I'm a writer. So I've journaled all of my life. I mean, in high school, I had like volumes of journals to document my experience. Do I want my kids to read all those? No. Absolutely not. My best friend is in charge of those, but when something happens to me.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing your definitions of legacy, your heritage, your memories, your hopes and dreams of how you want to leave your mark on this planet. This has been such a creative and actually healing podcast for us. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to open up and share a variety of opportunities for us to start thinking about legacy. For those listening, I want to give a quick shout out to some of the programs and services that we offer at survivingbreastcancer.org. We meet twice a month, actually, for our Thursday Night Thrivers MBC support group. It is peer-to-peer led on the first and third Thursday of the month. So check it out at survivingbreastcancer.org/events. We also have our MBC webinar series that takes place a couple of times a month on Sundays. So that too will also be highlighted on our events page. And we do have a specific resource page for those living with metastatic breast cancer, which you can find at survivingbreastcancer.org/livingwithmbc. And thank you all for listening and tuning in week after week here on Breast Cancer Conversations. Please be mindful that all of our content and information is for educational purposes only and is never a substitute for medical advice. If you want to hang out, again, please check out survivingbreastcancer.org/events, where you can RSVP to our Thursday Night Thrivers weekly meetup, our Movement Monday classes, workshops, seminars, and so much more. We can also continue the dialogue online via social media. Our Instagram handle is survivingbreastcancer.org, all one word, and you can follow us on Twitter at SBC_ORG. Until next time, keep on thriving.